Right, then we are live on news that is just coming in, and it will interest all you sports fan. Even though this is a business-related news where two giants of the media industry have come together, and this is a news that had been spoken about for the last 6, 8 months. It was regularly being reported, and now it's official that Reliance industry here in India have acquired the India operations of Disney. Disney, as you know, not only operate Disney Hotstar, the OTT platform, but also a lot of channels under the name of Star India. There's Star Plus, Star Movies, Star Sports. All of you familiar with the media landscape would know the channels that they operate. So now the big news is that Reliance Industry, that was also the owner of all the Network 18, Viacom 18 channels, the OTT platform, Jio Cinema, all of those entities that they had. So Reliance and Disney's operation, effectively Star India, have come together. And how does it impact the sport fan? Because as you know, majority of cricket, Indian cricket, as well as international cricket, is divided between these two entities. So you either watch your cricket on Disney Hotstar or on Jio Cinema or on Sports 18 on TV or on Star Sports on TV. So these are the major entities. There's also Sony Sports in India, which now do not have too many cricket rights, barring the one major right they have is India's tour to England. So every time India tour England, that's on Sony. But apart from that, all the other major rights will are divided between these two entities. And now that they've come together, what does that mean for you, the sports fan? That's what I'm going to tell you in this particular video. First, let me just tell you the big numbers of this deal. So 70 or 1,000 crores is the value of this deal. That is what Reliance Industry has paid Disney to buy off their share. That does not mean that Disney don't own any shares. I'll tell you the share holding pattern a little later, but at the moment Reliance have got the majority shares. That means they have taken control of the entity. So 70,352 crores is what Reliance has paid Disney globally to acquire their India rights. That is roughly around 8.5 billion US dollars. That's the value of this deal, the transaction that has happened to create this JV between those two entities. What has that done now? Now Reliance, because they've got the controlling stake, they will have their own chairperson. So Neeta Ambani, who's the vice chairperson of the Reliance Industry, will now be heading this entity, this media entity. She will be the chairperson, and her deputy, her second in command, would be a very well-known name in Indian media landscape, Uday Shankar, who used to be heading the Disney operations earlier. Before Disney took over in India, Star India, he was heading. And then he left that and then started his own company with James Murdoch. And now they became part of the Reliance Industry because they invested in Viacom 18, bought 40% share of Viacom 18 by paying close to 13,000 crore. So they were already part of the Reliance Industry as entrepreneurs. Now, because this JV has happened and Viacom 18 is also part of this, so Uday Shankar now becomes Neeta Ambani's deputy. He's the vice chairperson of this new media entity. What this has done is it has made it the biggest media entity in India. How? I will explain that a little later. But right now, just to let you know the shareholding pattern, who holds what. So 63.16% now belongs to this combined entity that is come in, is owned by Reliance. 63% of this combined entity is owned by Reliance, whereas about 37% is owned by Disney still. Disney, as you know, is a US-based company, so 37% roughly is owned by them. 63% is owned by Reliance Industry, which makes them the controlling partner. So they'll take a call, and 37% ownership will remain with Disney. They will that way, based on the ownership, will be able to enjoy the benefits or the profits of this entity, but controlling stake will remain with Reliance. Just to let you know the division there as well, how is it divided between Reliance? As I said, that 67% is also divided. About 16% is owned by Reliance, and 46.8 to about 47% is owned by Viacom 18. Remember, Viacom 18 and Reliance are also two separate entity. They also have merged. Reliance was separate, Network 18 was separate, Viacom was separate. They merged, and Reliance took control of Viacom 18. 51% was with Reliance, 48 with Viacom. So they became one. Now this entity, which became one, has taken over Star India as well, and now they've all become one, with Neeta Ambani as the chairperson, Uday Shankar, a media mogul, as now the vice chairperson below Neeta Ambani. I mean, just to put it broadly so that you understand, Star India now has merged with Reliance, and Reliance now have the controlling stake. Now, why is it that it makes it the biggest media entity? As I said, they have now over 100 channels in several languages, as you know. Star's channels, Viacom 18's channel, two leading OTT platforms. I think the ones that, at least in terms of sport content, have been number one: Jio Cinema and Disney Hotstar. They've also become one, and they claim that now the combined entity will have a subscriber base, or a viewer base rather, of more than 750 million across India. That's going to be their viewership base, 750 million across India, which makes them such a big entity. Interestingly, it is now being reported that Viacom 18, which is a combined entity of Viacom and Network 18, which has now acquired Disney, they will be merged into Star India Private Limited. So effectively, and this is not confirmed, effectively the entire network together could still be called Star India. It is possibility, though this is not confirmed. But what we're getting to here, the Viacom 18 has been merged into Star India with a controlling stake with Viacom 18, which is controlled by Reliance. So effectively, everything falls in the hands of the Reliance industry at the moment. Now, what happens to Disney Hotstar? What happens to Viacom 18? What happens to Star Sports? I think that's the question on your mind. Well, that is also not been specified. So I think these are steps that will be taken going forward. It is possible that they allow these channels to run just the way they are running. So it is, while the management might change, the control might change, but it is possible that Star Sports continues to run as Star Sports, and Viacom 18 Sports on TV continues to run that as Viacom 18, or Viacom 18 could become, like you have Star Sports 1, Star Sports 2, Star Sports 3. It could become another channel called Star Sports 4 or 5, and so on and so forth. So it could be done like that, or you allow it to be a Viacom 18 Sports and Star Sports separately. My guess is that I think it'll come under the same branding, whatever branding they go in with, and most likely could be Star India, as I mentioned earlier. So it could be Star Sports 1, Star Sports 2, Star Sports 3, 4, and Viacom 18 Sports also becomes a Star Sports channel now, but the management has changed hands. It's now under Reliance's control. What happens to the two OTT platforms? That's going to be interesting. Whether you allow Disney Hotstar to be there, or and Jio Cinema to be there, that's a possibility, or a decision could be taken to merge the two entity. We do not have a clear picture on that. Here, there could be a possibility that you allow both entities to exist. They have a different subscriber base, possible, or it'll be up to the management that they merge the two of them together. Also, probably call it Jio Cinema both together, or call it Disney Hotstar. But in all likelihood, could have them as two separate platforms as well. As far as you, the sports fan, how does it impact you? Well, not much. I mean, you started getting, ever since Reliance acquired rights digitally, most things were available free. So it doesn't matter whether it's on Jio Cinema or Disney Hotstar. Most likely you'll continue to get it free. Or if it goes back into subscriber mode, which is now possible, because earlier Jio probably made it free because you were competing with the Disney Hotstar, and maybe they wanted the subscriber base to increase, and there was also the data play into it, since Reliance is also a data provider and a mobile operator. So they could still continue with that free model where all cricket on digital is free. If it goes into subscription, then the easy bit could be that it's possible that the subscription could only be one place. So because it's the same entity, you may not have to subscribe separately for Disney Hotstar, separately for Jio Cinema. If you bring the two entities together, it is possible that with one subscription you could see a different cricket. So we don't know what happens from here on. It's going to be interesting whether they continue with the free model as they had shown in digital, or they make it a subscription based cricket model going forward. What that does is brings cricket under one umbrella, the entire gambit of cricket matches available in India. So earlier, as you know, digitally IPL was with Viacom, on TV it was with Star. Now it's the same entity. So they could have it just as Star used to have it earlier. Now they could, have it on all their TV platforms, all their digital platforms, if they continue to remain separate. So now it's together with one entity. Indian cricket already, Jio had taken over, so that will remain. What is the other property that now comes into Reliance's hand is ICC rights. So ICC rights were with Star Sports. Now they've acquired Star Sports. So even those rights now come under Jio Cinemas or Reliance in that sense. They come together. What else do they get? They get another very important rights, Australia rights. They were with Star Sports. Now they've acquired Star Sports, Star India. If you look at the larger picture, then even the Australia rights will be them. So all of that now come under the same umbrella. As I mentioned earlier, only one that you will see will not be with them is when Indian team travels to England. Those rights are with Sony. Remember, Star had initially decided to sublease their ICC TV rights to Z, but Z is now caught up in its own little battle with Sony in terms of their merger. So the TV rights have remained with Star, and now that there has been no solution in that Z Sony merger, so it's most likely Viacom, the new entity, or Reliance, the new entity, will keep back those rights and will not sublease it to Z anymore. That is a possibility because Z has anyway not honored their commitment when that initial deal was announced, because they've not really sorted their own house and they're having trouble there. So all of those rights, cricket rights, come together. So in a sense, you could say it'll be a monopoly. It'll all be with one player. How does that impact you, the viewer? Well, whenever there's a monopoly, the end consumer will have to pay more. It is up to now Reliance to ask any price that they want. There will be no competition as far as cricket is concerned. So it will be up to them. If they put a subscription price, you have no other platform to go to. So you may have to pay that subscription price, whether it's on TV, whether it's digitally, because there will only be one player. Whenever there's a fair market, when there are multiple players, prices are always under check because there's competition. Now that's not going to happen. But there is also still a good chance, as I said, for Reliance, there is another player there. They are also data providers. They're also a mobile operator. So good chance that digital may still remain free. If not, subscription could be back. So that's the latest update in terms of this merger. I hope these numbers help you understand and get a idea about the larger picture and how it impacts you, the sports fan. If you enjoyed our content, do give us a like, share it with your other cricket crazy friends. For the moment, Nikhil Nath signing off. Bye bye.